So I want to start with the whole story. Let's start off why I even had a problem with my. Uh, let's start off why I even had a problem with my body. When I was 15 years old, I was already decently athletic. I had no control of my nutrition. I just simply wasn't raised in a position where I did. And at 15 years old, at 5'8", I was 220 pounds. I was athletic, sure, but I would drink a lot of 2-liter sodas. I would eat until I would throw up. I would do a lot of things that are really unhealthy. When I was going into my sophomore year, I found out about lifting. Planet Fitness has this thing during the summer where they have free gym memberships for teenagers. I would use that. And then I had a lifting class in throughout the year. So throughout that year and then into the next year too, I became super focused on lifting, on becoming the most aesthetic person I could. I would follow a lot of people through YouTube. I became obsessed just looking through everything, and I became obsessed with the idea of leaning out. I had probably like 200 grams of protein per day. And then eventually, at the end of it, I cut my calories all the way down to 1,500. 1,500 for somebody athletic as I was ridiculous. I It got so bad. I was having 3 bangs a day at the peak of bang, obviously. So 900 milligrams of caffeine every single day to make it through. I thought this was the way it was supposed to be. I had what in my mind was a great body. I was lean. I had decent muscle. During the whole process, um, I kind of lost myself in a lot of ways, especially when the cheer season ended. I didn't know what to do with myself. I leaned even heavier into the lifting and became even leaner, cutting more calories. Because the hard thing when you start bigger and you start to lose weight is people congratulate you. They ask what your secret is, they give you attention for it. And as a nerdy kid at the time who was overweight, it was something incredibly new for me. It was a reward. So the more weight I lost, the more attention I got. Nobody really stopped me. That wasn't until my grandma at one point. There's a couple people that said a handful of things, my grandmother being one of them. She just made a quick comment saying, "Hey, you're getting pretty skinny. Is everything okay?" I took this as face value. I said, "Yeah, of course everything's fine. I'm just getting leaner." In my mind, I'm like, she doesn't understand. She did. I would measure my body fat at the school because they have it for wrestlers. I weighed in, I think it was 160 at 14% body fat. And I remember telling the physical trainer at the time, I was like, I want to get even leaner. And she was like, why? Why are you getting leaner? You're a cheerleader. You don't have to be leaner. And again, in my mind, I was like, she doesn't understand. She doesn't get it. She doesn't see the vision. At the end of my junior year, I was down to 150 and I still wanted to go further. I wanted to get down to like 140, 130 because I felt like I still had the fat to lose. I was still getting praise. It was, what's your secret? How can I be like you? And that's the hard thing, man, right? Then came COVID. COVID kind of saved me, to be honest with you. I became a lot more lax. Nobody saw me. I didn't get any attention for anything. So I started eating a lot more just in general. And it was slow. But over the next 6 years, I ended up going back to 225, 75 pounds back. And that was November. I was terrified of really focusing on leaning out. because I didn't want to go back to that little kid. I didn't want to go back to that 16-year-old that was on 1,500 calories a day, miserable because I was so obsessed with my body. But something else had to change. I was eating fast food every day. I sure was had a decent physique, but also I had a gut. I mean, I was not at a healthy enough body fat percentage, and I struggled getting upstairs. That's the I once ran a marathon, and 2 3 years later, I was having trouble going up the 3 flights of stairs to my apartment. This was ridiculous for somebody that took pride in going to the gym. So I was looking for ways that I could lean out without counting calories, without focusing on a lot of those different things. I came across creators such as James Capola, highly recommend. Mike Needs a Plan, highly recommend. Because for me, a huge part of it was getting rid of the guilt with eating. I would have a lot of guilt with eating, and then I would binge. So the plan I started to put in place instead was putting in what I could, adding more fruits, adding more vegetables, adding more fiber, trying to listen to my body, pay attention to how I feel rather than how my body looks. And that's hard to do, man, because you people people change how they talk to you. People change how they act around you depending on how your body looks. That's a real thing, and it's depressing. In an ideal world, would have true body neutrality where we treat people the same no matter what. Since November, since employing these strategies, I'm down 23 pounds. I'm down to 202 pounds now, healthily. I don't feel like I'm starving myself. I don't feel like I'm limiting myself. I allow myself sweet treats. I allow myself alcoholic beverages every once in a while. I think for the first time I could say I'm healthy, both metabolically, physically, nutritionally. I'm in a much better place than I've ever been before. And I can't give enough thanks to creators such as James Capola and Mike Needs a Plan. I think you guys truly woke up that idea in me that I can do this healthily. It's possible. And who knows how far I'll go. Honestly, I'm pretty detached from the numbers now. I don't care what the scale says. I care about how I feel. And I think I'll end up going down with time anyways. Probably evening out around like 185 or so. I don't know. But I don't care how long it takes me to get there, right? My goal is not that. My goal is to eat healthier. And so should yours be. Same with the gym. Your goal should be to live a long, happy life, not to solely make your body a certain way. And that's hard, man. It's work we all got to do. And a lot of it also has to do with sexism, or the patriarchy in general. We want to fit these molds, and you kind of also have to let that go. It's not easy, but I believe anybody can do it, to be honest with you. Be kind to yourself because we all deserve love. And love yourself enough to put the effort in to have a couple vegetables with dinner, have some fruit, hit your fiber intake. Don't worry about the calories. Just enjoy yourself, man. Try to eat more nutritionally dense meals. I don't know how many more things I'm going to do with this type of thing. Like I said, I have tried to record this 2 or 3 times now in the form of a reel, and it was just too long. And I don't know if I'll continue doing these types of things, but or even if I'll end up editing this at all. But I do think I wanted to tell my story in the sense. You guys have a great rest of your night.